A very good morning, dear children. Jai Swaminarayan. Welcome back to Atmiya Green School Jadeshwar branch. This is your English class, and we'll begin with a new story today. And the name of the story is Elephants Raid the Kitchen. And the story has been written by Cynthia Moss, who is the writer. She was born in New York on 24th July 1940. So you can see on the screen over here the description about Cynthia Moss has been given over here. So she is the author of the story Elephants Raid the Kitchen. She focused on elephant conservation in the late 1980s as she saw the elephant population halved by poaching for ivory and loss of habitat. She studied the elephants in Kenya's Amboseli National Park over 27 years. Cynthia Moss wrote 4 books: Portraits in the Wild, Elephant Memories, Echo of the Elephants, Little Big Ears, and co-author of Elephant Woman. So these were the 4 books she has written. I'll repeat it again. First one is Portraits in the Wild, Elephant Memories, Echo of the Elephants, Little Big Ears, and co-author of Elephant Woman. So here are a few amazing facts about elephants. Elephants are the largest land mammal. Despite their size, they can run up to 25 miles per hour. Elephants are highly sensitive and caring animals. The herd is led by the female head of a family of elephants. Elephants can eat up to 600 pounds of food a day. They are highly intelligent animals. Actually, there are 3 species of elephants. You can see in the picture. The first one is Savannah, second one is African, and the third one is Asian. So these are the 3 species of elephants you can find. So let's begin with the story. Elephants Raid the Kitchen. Actually, this story is an extract from the book of Cynthia Moss, that is Elephant Memories. It describes a terrible event of elephants entering the Cynthia's camp at Amboseli National Park in Kenya.
Tuskless, Teddy, and the others began feeding around the periphery of the camp, apparently minding their own business and concentrating on eating grass. However, Tuskless surreptitiously turned the tip of her trunk towards the kitchen and the tents to smell what and who was there. Wafting from the place where the food was kept was the delicious odor of very ripe bananas. Tuskless loved bananas. She had first tasted them at the lodge feeding place, where a man came twice a day with a wheelbarrow full of vegetable and fruit scraps. These were usually peels and old outer leaves of lettuce and cabbages. But one day there was a whole stalk of overripe, almost fermented bananas. Tuskless liked the smell immediately, plucked one off the stalk, popped it in her mouth, and savored the sweet taste. She managed to eat most of them, sharing as few as possible with the others. From that day on, she particularly sought out bananas. On this evening, the smell was irresistible. She moved closer to the kitchen, a flimsy structure made out of a few wooden posts, sisal poles, chicken wire, and roofing felt. She could smell other good things as well: pineapples, oranges, and various vegetables. She also noticed that it was unusually quiet in the camp tonight. There were no voices, and there was no strong, immediate smell of humans. She stopped feeding and rumbled gently. Tanya answered from among the palms, with her unmistakable, long, rolling rumble, but stayed where she was. Teddy, Tawny, and Tilly also answered, and they walked over to join Tuskless. These 4 animals, plus Tuskless's 2-year-old calf, slowly approached the kitchen with their trunks held out in front of them. They got within a few feet and stopped and listened. Still there were no sounds of people. Tuskless reached her trunk out and felt the outer wall of the kitchen. She wrapped her trunk around a sisal pole and pulled. There was a tearing noise as the pole was wrenched away. No one came out of the tent to chase them. The others moved forward and also started pulling on the poles and the wire. Tuskless quickly made a sizable hole in one wall of the kitchen. She reached her trunk in and tried to feel for the bananas. But they were on the opposite side of the kitchen, and a table and a cupboard were in her way. She became impatient and leaned her head against the wall and pushed. The building swayed before collapsing sideways. The bananas were under the tilted-over wall and roof, but Tuskless was undeterred. She went around to the other side, which was more or less intact, and started forcing her way through that wall. Once she got her head inside, she began to pull things out, push things over, open things up, and gather in as much food as she could. The bananas went first, of course, closely followed by the pineapples, oranges, mangoes, and papayas. These fruits, even large pineapples, could be placed whole in the mouth and crushed in the huge grinding molars with a great gush of juice. It was near ecstasy. The vegetables, carrots, potatoes, tomatoes, onions, lettuces, cabbages, cauliflowers, cucumbers, avocados, string beans, zucchini, eggplants went soon after. Most of the fruits and vegetables were stored in tin trunks, but this posed no problem for an elephant. The tin trunk was lifted up and turned upside down and stepped on a bit and kicked about if necessary until it disgorged its contents. Once the fresh produce was finished, Tuskless began to search around for other delicacies. She could smell bread and cookies and crackers in one wooden cupboard. This was knocked down and smashed open. The bread was quickly snatched up, and then the cookies and crackers were eaten, box or plastic bag and all. Next, a small camping fridge and a cooler were crushed, but neither contained anything interesting. Another cupboard with glasses and plates in it was tipped sideways, and broken glass joined the other wreckage on the dirt floor of the kitchen. The bigger fridge was pulled and dragged from its place until it toppled over, disconnected from its gas cylinder. Noxious propane gas hissed out of the dangling tube with a sound and smell that would certainly have sent lesser elephants away.
So this story is an extract which has been taken from the book of Cynthia Moss. Here she is describing about a terrible event of elephants entering her camp at Amboseli National Park in Kenya. So you can see this. This is the Amboseli National Park in Kenya, where a troop of elephants they had entered, and here she is describing about a terrible event of elephants entering her camp. So let's see what happened over there. In the story, there is a female elephant, Tuskless, who was the head of her elephant family. Teddy, Tanya, Tony, Tilly, and the 2-year-old calf of Tuskless were part of the herd elephant family. So the group of elephants are called herd of elephant. Okay, the elephant family lived in close to the camp of the author and her friends. Now, who were there in the family? Teddy, Tanya, Tony, Tilly, and the 2-year-old calf of Tuskless were the part of the herd, that is the elephant family. One evening, the elephants began to feed around the edge of the camp. As a matter of fact, 16 to 18 hours, or nearly 80% of an elephant's day, is spent feeding. Elephants eat grass, small plants, bushes, fruits, twigs, tree bark, and roots. So, here the author is trying to say the elephants began to feed around the edge of the camp. As a matter of fact, 16 to 18 hours, or nearly 80% of an elephant's day, is spent on feeding. And what do they eat? They eat grass, small plants, bushes, fruits, twigs, tree bark, and roots. That evening, while eating grass, Tuskless turned the tip of her trunk towards the kitchen and the tents to smell. What was there? There was the delicious odor of very ripe bananas. There were no sound of people, as there was no one in the camp. So suddenly that evening, what happened? While eating the grass, Tuskless turned the tip of her trunk towards the kitchen and the tents to smell what was. And then she saw that there was delicious odor of some ripe bananas. She could smell it. There were no sound of people, as there was no one in the camp. So Tuskless saw all this and she could smell. Okay, now let's see what happened next. Now Tuskless loved the bananas, as all the elephants do. She had first tasted them at the lodge feeding place, where a man used to come twice a day with wheelbarrow full of vegetables and fruits scraps. Wheelbarrow is a small cart with a single wheel at the front and two supporting legs and two handles at the rear. You can see the picture of wheelbarrow and you can see the man who was carrying the cart. Okay. From that day onwards, Tuskless, the female elephant, started looking for the bananas particularly. So from that day onwards, Tuskless always was looking for the bananas. She wanted food and she particularly waited for the bananas. She was looking for the bananas. A day before the raid, Masako, the cook, and the camp worker had left on 5 days leave. On the very same day, the narrator's camp mate Phyllis had come back from the trip to Nairobi with a huge load of groceries, meat, fresh fruits, and vegetables, including some overripe bananas. So, a day before the raid, Masako, the cook, and the camp worker had left on 5 days leave. And on the very same day, who had come? Narrator's campmate Phyllis had come from a trip to Nairobi with a huge load of groceries. He had bought groceries, meat, fresh fruits, and vegetables, including some overripe bananas. The next morning, filmmakers Warren and Jenny Gast had arrived at the camp for a project with another huge load of food. So the smell of fruits was irresistible for Tuskless. It was so quiet in the camp as the cook was not there. The narrator and her friends had gone to a nearby lodge to have dinner. So here we come to know that the next morning, filmmakers Warren and Jenny Gast had arrived at the camp for a project with another huge load of food. So the smell of fruits was irresistible for Tuskless. Tuskless could smell the fruits, okay, the fresh fruits. It was so quiet in the camp as the cook was not there, the narrator and her friends. And why it was quiet over there? Because the narrator and her friends had gone to a nearby lodge to have dinner. So that is why there was no one there in the camp. So, seeing that there was no one in the camp, now Tuskless, the female elephant, moved closer to the kitchen. She stopped feeding and called her companions by rumbling. They slowly approached the kitchen. The tent wasn't strong enough. It was made out of a few wooden posts, sisal poles, chicken wire, and roofing felt. So when Tuskless saw that there was no one in the camp area, so what did Tuskless do? She moved closer to the kitchen and then she stopped feeding and called her companions, that is her friends, by rumbling. They slowly approached the kitchen. The tent wasn't strong enough. It was made out of few wooden posts, that is few wooden poles, sisal poles, chicken wire, and roofing felt. Tuskless wrapped her trunk around the main sisal pole of the tent and wrenched it away. The other elephants moved forward and also started pulling on other poles and the wire. So this is what they started doing. When they saw that there was no one in the camp, Tuskless called her companions and they all came running. And then what did they do? They started pulling the poles, okay. They wrapped, Tuskless started wrapping her trunk around the main chisel pole of the tent and wrenched it away. And the other elephants also, they started moving forward and they also started pulling on other poles and the wire. Tuskless quickly made a sizable hole in one wall of the kitchen. Then she became impatient and leaned her head against the wall and pushed it. The building swayed before collapsing sideways. This is how the elephants entered the kitchen. So you can see in the picture how they started breaking the camp, the tent. Okay, the camp, in the camp area, how they entered the camp and how they started breaking the tent. What did first Tuskless do? She quickly started making a sizable hole in one wall of the kitchen. Then she became impatient and leaned her head against the wall and pushed it. The building swayed before collapsing, that is the tent, and sideways. This is how the elephants, they entered the kitchen. Now once Tuskless got her head inside, she began to pull things out. She gathered as much food as she could. They ate bananas, pineapples, oranges, mangoes, papaya, cucumbers, string beans and eggplants, etc. Elephants can eat between 149 to 169 kg of vegetation daily. So you can see what is happening in the picture. So once they broke the tent, then what did they start doing? They started pulling the things out. Then Tuskless gathered as much food as she could. Then she and her friends, companions, what they started doing? They started eating the bananas, they started eating pineapples, oranges, papayas, mangoes, cucumbers, string beans and eggplants, etc. Whatever was found in the basket, they pulled it in the kitchen. They started. Then once the fruits and vegetables, the fresh produce was finished, Tuskless could smell the bread and cookies and crackers in one wooden cupboard. She smashed the cupboard, turned the tins upside down until they disgorged their contents. They ate up the cookies, crackers, including plastic bags. Okay, so once the fresh produce was finished, that is all the fruits and vegetables were over, they finished eating all those things, then then Tuskless could smell the bread and cookies and the crackers that was kept in the wooden shelf. You can see in the wooden cupboard. She then, what did she do? She started smashing the cupboard, turned the tins upside down. All the tins came down and they tried to open it until they could disgorge their contents. Then they started eating up the cookies, crackers, including the plastic bags. Then they crushed a small camping fridge and a cooler. They knocked down the other cupboard with glasses and plates in it. The elephants pulled the bigger fridge until it gets disconnected from its gas cylinder. Noxious propane gas leaked out from the cylinder. Now this is all they started doing inside the kitchen. Just as Tuskless and Teddy were tackling the third cupboard with jams and spices in it, they heard the engine of a car coming in their direction. As soon as the narrator realized that the camp was being raided by elephants, without getting off the car, she rushed at the elephants in the vehicle to chase them away. So Tuskless and Teddy were tackling the third cupboard. They finished with the vegetables and everything, and then they jumped towards the bread, cakes and the crackers which were kept in the wooden cupboard. And then when they were starting with the third cupboard, which was kept where the jams and spices were kept, they heard an engine of a car coming in their direction. Okay, so as soon as the narrator realized that the camp was being raided, when she came near the camp, near the tent, she saw that it was being raided by the elephants. So without getting off the car, she rushed at the elephants in the vehicle and started chasing them away. When she started chasing the elephants away, each elephant grabbed a trunk full and started turning away. But Tuskless stayed back for a while because she was reluctant to leave the food. She did not want to leave the food. Okay. When the narrator threatened it by making loud engine noises, she too left from there, grabbing a box of spaghetti and a paper bag full of half-pound garlic. Okay, so each elephant, when the narrator started chasing the elephants away, each and every elephant, they started grabbing a trunk full and then started turning away. They started moving away. But Tuskless stayed back over there for a while because she was reluctant to leave the food. She did not want to leave the food and go from there. The narrator threatened it by making loud engine noises. She too left. Then when the engine noises were too loud, then Tuskless also left from there. But then before leaving, she grabbed a box of spaghetti and a paper bag full of half-pound garlic. Now once they had left, she climbed down and crawled into the kitchen because she could hear and smell gas escaping. She found the gas cylinder and removed the regulator to close off the valve. The elephants raided the kitchen in such a way that it was about to blow off. Okay, so elephants, they didn't know, but then they had pulled the cylinder and everything and the gas was leaking. Okay, so the author could smell the gas escaping. So she found the gas cylinder and she removed the regulator to close off the valve. The elephants raided the kitchen in such a way that it was about to blow off. Okay. The narrator was so worried about the elephants because they would have died in flames if a spark had set off the gas. So the narrator was thanking God that at least she was there on time. Otherwise, if she was not on time, then the elephants would have died in the flames if a spark had set off the gas. Actually, the kind-hearted narrator didn't want them to get killed or wounded. The narrator blamed herself because she felt she should have known better and taken the necessary steps to pull all the food items safely out of the herd's reach, especially since her camp had been raided before. So actually the narrator was a kind-hearted lady. She didn't want the elephants to get killed or wounded. The narrator blamed herself. Then she started cursing herself. She started blaming herself that she should have kept knowing that the elephants were there around and they might raid her kitchen anytime, she should have taken the necessary steps to pull all the food items safely out of the herd's reach, especially since the herd camp had been raided before also. So she was knowing about it. The narrator also thought that she should have guessed the problem at least after they had seen Tuskless heading in their direction on the same evening. So this is what she is recollecting, and she was feeling guilty about. Then they started cleaning up everything till midnight. They put the refrigerator and the cupboard with the remaining food in a closed vehicle to reduce the tempting odor. So what did she do? She started cleaning up. She and her friends, they all started cleaning up everything till midnight. Then they started putting all the things in the refrigerator and cupboard with the remaining food in a closed vehicle. They kept it in a closed vehicle to reduce the tempting odor, so that the elephants will not come again to raid the kitchen or the food. But Tuskless, she was knowing that the food is there, so she did not stop raiding camps even after this incident. By the later half of 1978, Tuskless had become very bad about raiding camps. Sometimes they raided 3 or 4 camps a day. Tuskless tried many a time to raid the kitchen, but Masako chased it away. Although Tuskless could pretend to be good, they knew that she was just waiting for a chance. So Tuskless did not give up. She started raiding the kitchen, but then Masako tried to chase it away. Tuskless could always pretend to be good. Tuskless always pretended to be good, but then they knew, the narrator and Masako, they knew that she was just waiting for her chance to raid the kitchen. So they were very cautious and they started chasing it away. Here, the narrator is trying to tell us that elephants actually mean everything to Cynthia Moss. She has written numerous popular and scientific articles and has made 4 award-winning TV documentaries about elephants' behavior. They have changed the way people view elephants. So here we come to know that Cynthia Moss, she loved the elephants and she tried lots of ways to change the people's views on elephants. So this was a small extract which was taken from her story. And this story was about how the elephants raid the kitchen. So children, I hope you understood the story, and here we will end with the class today. And please take care of yourself and be safe at home, and we'll end the class today. Thank you children. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.